Hey everybody, thanks for bearing with me this morning. And got really a lot to go over. And I think we got a lot of really pressing stuff for us to really dive into. I'm going to try to not turn this into a lesson today. It's going to be hard. I'm going to struggle. I'm going to tell you that now because this is pretty fascinating what's going on out there right now. So the crux of everything is going to boil down to a couple key things here. Let me just show you the graph, and then we're going to go from there. All right. So let's get started here, and I'm going to take off the banner, and then we'll go from there. So I'm finally starting to learn how to use this in my free time and get started. Good. Okay. So here we are, and might as well start with Alta. Alta had really good numbers. The numbers were not bad at all. And there is a really interesting divergence you're seeing here with these names where even good ones are selling down now a little bit. And that's okay. It's fine. I think it presents a buying opportunity. I personally, I think there's a gap fill there today. If you drill into this, I'm going to get rid of this indicator below. And if you just drill into this, I'm going to overlay this one. This is a good one. You're going to be able to see very clear where you're at, right? Like, I mean, you just crushed. Like, there's very little to say. And then you just look at all the green E's. And greens mean that you've beaten expectations. I mean, it's really hard. I mean, the only time you didn't beat expectations was the pandemic. So it's just one of those things you want to buy and you want to forget that you own now. Why is that? Because that's really just what you should be doing with names like this. When they pull back, they are providing opportunity. The question always you have to ask yourself is, how much can you pull back, right? I mean, that's what you have to focus on. And we're going to get to the banks in a moment here, guys. So you have this quick drop down, which just presents a huge opportunity for somebody, right? That first 15-minute bar, you never broke it. You don't break that first 15-minute bar. You can set your clock to this, but you pretty much always retest that next opening, right? You're always going to retest that opening, and you're always going to retest this. Let me show you what I mean. Not so much you're going to gap fill, but you usually gap fill anyway. But you usually, it's pretty much the same spot sometimes, not all the times, but you get to that level, and you're at least going to test the opening of that bar. There's no question about it. So I think there's a gap fill here. I think it's a pretty easy trade on the day. You got 2 minutes here for non-farm payrolls, and that is very important, but it's nowhere near as important as watching a bank go to zero. I'm surprised that they're even trading this today. There's a couple things. Number one, what they've come out and said yesterday was wholly inaccurate, or at best was not telling everything that they already knew. I shouldn't say inaccurate, but I think it was inaccurate. I don't think they were honest at all. Give me 1 second here. What started causing the spike down was reporters actually doing reporting that people couldn't pull their money out of there. They were having problem getting wires. Once that started happening, you had a massive, massive problem. Now, as the day went on, you had people that were advising VCs and other funds to pull their capital out of there. Well, that's not what you want. That's definitely not what you want. And based upon that, you had some issues, didn't you? Some real issues. And that's probably going to get a little worse, guys. I don't see how this is in the same format. I really don't. How you're going to possibly be in the same format. So now in 30 seconds, we're going to get non-farm payrolls. And people are going to say that non-farm payrolls are going to move the market. And they are going to move the market a little bit here. But non-farm payrolls are now a non-event in the sense of, if we're going to start losing banks, they're not going to be able to do anything. So now you go out there, non-farm payrolls were higher than expected, 311. versus 205, 311 versus 205. I'll pop that in the little stream here for us. But if you're probably going to get some selling on that, but I think it's a non-event. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't see how you could be in a position where that's even on your radar anymore to think that they're going to raise 50 basis points. I don't even know how you could. I don't even know how you could think that, right? And quite frankly, I think what they're going to do with this information when it comes out is I think they're probably even going to rally us. Once that's done, just because it's over, and you're seeing some of that. I expect a much larger rally, to be honest with you, because let me show you this so you understand what's actually going on, because everyone's going to look at that number and go, well, why the heck are we going up? This is why you're going up. This is why you're going to go up. Look at the 10-year. Look what the 10-year did last night. Okay. This is the 10-year bond. Okay. You can't raise rates anymore. Everybody knows it. Well, not everybody. If you understand econ, if you understand macro, and I know I go back and forth with macro drives the world, and then I get off the pedal of it. But how the heck, I'm trying to clean up my language, are you going to raise rates if you're putting banks out of business? You can't raise rates if you're putting banks out of business. So you're going to have to drop that, which is going to alleviate the banking industry, which is going to lead to people actually buying financials. Now, and I know that sounds like a huge disconnect, but just understand what's happened in 2 days. Okay. If you bought a treasury bond here while everyone's waiting for 6% and telling you not to buy treasuries, right? You made 7% on your money in 2 days. You made more in 2 days off that bond than you were supposed to get paid in 2 years in interest. You might take that. Okay. Someone might just go, wait a minute. And in 2 days, I'm up 7%, and that's what I'm supposed to get in 2 years. Yeah. Just lock that in. Right. I mean, that's not a bad way to live. I mean, it's pretty simple. So what I'm getting at the end of the day is I think we're going to be all over the map today. I think you're going to have huge volatile swings. And if you're not a quick trader, you're going to want to stay out of the way. Okay. Because you're going to hear all kinds of rumors on SIVB that they're going to go to zero, that someone's going to step in. You're going to hear all kinds of stuff today. Okay. So just deal with that. My thought process and what I'm interested in buying the larger banks. And I'm really curious how they're going to act today. If we take a look at the VIX, you're not really doing a whole heck of a lot here, guys, on the VIX side. And, we'll see how the market bounces around, but I think this is telling you pretty much everything that you need to know. Now, coin I'm interested in, and I have a trade on in that. DIX I like a lot. And we didn't even make a lower low yesterday. So, I'm really going to open it up to questions early today, because I could spend all day going through the banking sector and what my thoughts are. But if you take one thing away from this today, take into account this. There is no way, and if it happens, I'll buy everybody a cup of coffee or a drink. There's no way in the world they're raising rates 50 basis points now. There's literally no way, because they're literally going to crush the financial system. They're going to put more banks out of business. Okay. So that's not going to happen. Okay, someone's going to have a talk to them. I mean, and if he even keeps his job. And I've been saying that I think Powell's on his way out. The complete lack of confidence that man, embodies. Anytime I agree with a politician, it always scares me. But the fact that I was agreeing with Warren when she was laying into him, it was staggering what he was saying. Now, you have bad economic data and you're rallying. Why? Okay. If you leave with nothing else, why is that happening? It's happening because they're buying the 10-year. Okay. Everyone telling you to stay away, to not buy bonds. No, you want to buy bonds. Okay. You want to buy bonds. Okay. Especially if you're a yield investor, you want to buy bonds. Okay. I'll give you another one that is just probably absolutely glaring right now. It's probably going to rip people's faces off, is TLT. Okay. This is just going to keep going down. Got the little abandoned baby down here. You can look at this and put in some of these moving averages just so you can see where you're at with them. see where you're going to open, how you're in the middle, so you have an understanding of where you're at. But I don't really see the sense in chasing, but you're probably going to want to start looking at bond funds. Okay. Because I'm going to say it again. There's no way that they can go out there and raise rates. They can 25 basis points, but they need to be extremely orderly. And I'm going to leave you with one other thing. So I'm going to do it this way because it's just simpler. We're going to take the 10-year and I'm going to divide the 10-year by the USO2 year. All right. It's just this is easier for me to do it than pulling up the spread. And this might confuse everybody, though. Why won't you let me do this? Come on. There you go. And I might confuse everybody here. But you see the spread? See how it's 80 basis points, right? So now you're at 80 basis points on the spread. You were just at 100. So I just want to show you this really quickly so that you understand this and understand what the issue is, okay? So, and it's not going to show me on this chart. So I'm going to do it a different way. I'll look at stocks and I'll pull it up while we're talking because I want people to get this because it's important. Let's do the NASDAQ while I'm doing this, and then we'll go from there. I'm going to pull this up on a 15-minute chart, and I'm going to get rid of these MAs for a moment. So what we want to focus on is key levels because that's what's working. Nothing's working as good as key levels. Nothing, okay? And 12.3, 50, pretty clean, right? I mean, you should know where these are, guys. If you don't, you don't. But you should know where these levels are. It's telling you everything you need to know, right? These are the levels you want to watch. You want to see how the NASDAQ acts when it gets up into these. Okay, you can see your support levels right in here. All right, you can see how you acted to that the other day. Tried to flip it, was unable to, pulled back down. Right now we have this going on. Okay, I don't know how we're going to open, but these are the levels, and these are the levels that I would look at today. If I was interested in the NASDAQ, and they are the levels that I would be trading off of. Now, if you look at the ES, this is even easier. I mean, 56.42 from the day before, and they're bouncing you all around. They've already ripped you up and ripped you back down and going to play with people all day long. Now, if you come here and just take a look at this level right there, and I got to drop this just a little bit right there. Okay, 39.80. You just ran right up to that roughly, right? You didn't get there, but you're at that 39.80 level, which has been a battleground for some time. If you come back here, you can even see it even further back and how long it's been a battleground. I'll drop an arrow right here. I'll drop a line right here so you can see this. And you should be able to see the battle spot here over and over again, right? How this is a battle area. When you get through it, you rip, becomes support until it's not, okay? So you want to get back over that 39.80. That's really your focal point today. So that's where my head would be. But if you could just look at one thing out there, it's going to be the inverted yield curve, and it's going to be the 10-year minus 2-year curve is what you're going to want to see, right? And the reason I'm bringing that up. Here, I'll show it to you this way. The reason I bring this up is I just want people to get this. So this is on Fred, okay? And this is a really important data point. And you can see you're at 97 basis points yesterday. Now you're at, 80 basis points now. Go look at what happens to the market when this yield starts, when the inversion starts stopping. Go mark on charts when the inversion stops and go look at what happens to the market, okay? Go look at the amount of movement that you get in the stock market when that happens. So a lot of people really don't understand, the Fed, like they really don't understand how this stuff works. And they'll look at this and go, oh, well, the market's definitely going to go down. Okay. So what about this? What happened after this, right? We all know what happened during that period in time. Oh, we don't want to buy because the Fed's going to pivot. Oh, the Fed's going to pivot? Okay. You don't want to buy. You just missed, one of the largest bull runs, right? So really go through and do yourself a service and match this. But before I get into that and go off on a tangent, see here, over here, you have April 2021, right? See how you're here? and it's 97 basis points. So you have a $250 disparity between those, right? See the disparity? Okay. So you have that disparity. Now, why is that important? Okay. That was what'd that take? Okay. That took, let's call that, a year and a half roughly. Okay. And then you go back and go, when was the last time that we have ever had a move that we were this low? Well, this is 76, came down. Nope, that's not it. Comes down, comes back to here. Okay. So 79 to 76. This took 3 years for this to happen. This took 18 months. Okay. So the impact on banks when we had, and this is when we had the SNL loan scandal, where we lost a third of all savings and loans. Okay. So that happens, right? And then you come here and we took half the time to get to the same disparity that we did back here 3 years ago. What Powell's done is unprecedented. There's never been a time in history that someone's done this, and it's too much too fast. So there's no way we're going to watch banks go under as this guy goes out there and keeps raising rates. It's just not going to happen. So what that means is that people are going to buy bonds. He's going to do 25 basis points. It does not mean we are out of the woods. Far from it, right? If we start losing banks and banks start collapsing, not just but banks start collapsing, regional banks, they will cease lending money. They cease lending money. You will go into a recession, a bad recession. Like if you have a credit-driven recession, that's about as bad as you can get because people can't get credit. Your credit cards start getting canceled. You can't go buy that new TV. You want to start a business. You can't get the loan, all because people are not extending credit. Okay. And that's how people run their business. It's how they cash flow. It's how they pay salaries. It becomes a nightmare. All right. So these are things that we really have to focus on and pay attention to. What our hope is that this is a one-off event. And I'm not so sure that it is. I don't know enough yet. But just keep that in mind, okay? That's what you have to focus on. This is why the market's actually up on bad economic data, right? I mean, that is not a good number. You can spin it however you want to. Oh, it's less than the number last month. Well, it's 50% over what it's supposed to be. So there's no way you're going to spin that and tell me that that was a good number. I mean, they're stretching. They're looking for reasons. Okay, the reason that the market's doing what it's doing is because people are going to go out there and they're going to buy bonds. Okay, and as they buy bonds, okay, they're going to realize that there's no way in the world that he can go out there and continually raise rates. It's just not even feasible. So that's really what I wanted to go over. I'm more than happy to take some questions and go from there. But some of these names are just not going to be around, like SIVB. Yeah, I remember that. I read a lot of the books on that. Read Barbarians at the Gate. Barbarians at the Gate is a great book. So short-term bearish top, long-term border order flow. So DHI is interesting, isn't it? Now, long-term, I'd be concerned about the home builders until this sorts out. And I love the home builders right now, but if banks start having problems, they're not going to lend money. So we're going to have to watch that. We're really going to have to watch how this plays out, guys. You've seen the dollar drop. So you're going to have to watch how this plays out because it can really affect the market in a lot of different ways that people aren't thinking. A lot of different ways. I like DHI. I think it could be a winner, sure. But I think you have to let some things sort themselves out first and go from there. And one of those is definitely you have to watch how this is going to act in here. And I think you're fine, but I don't know that I see a hurry there. Well, NEO. Yeah, I mean, these kinds of charts are always appealing to me. When you have earnings behind us, you gapped up on the earnings. You're trying to take out that doji. Or you're trying to take out that long wick, I should say. I shouldn't call it a doji. I'm looking at over here. So you're trying to take that out. You're not really succeeding. So Yeah, and your volume's increasing. I mean, I do like that name. That makes sense. I can see why you're looking at that. You see where your resistances are, and you're right in there, aren't you? Seems like a pretty key level, doesn't it? Right? Flipped, retest support, breaks it. Yeah, I mean, you see what you have to get through. So you're really trying to get through that 19, right? I mean, that would make the most sense. That's how I would look at that, John. I would just look at that from the standpoint of the 19 and what's going on right there in that key level and see how it goes. Hey, Shock, happy Friday. UNG, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're getting there, aren't you? But I don't know. I tried once to bottom fish here. It didn't really work. Um, I don't know that you're going to see a huge run up in energy right now, considering what's going on in the market itself with the futures market and everything else. I'm not so sure that you're going to see that. So, that's definitely something that I'd be real careful of here. Really, really careful of. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. If you start sliding into slower growth, that these are going to get hurt a lot more. But I don't see that as something I need to be involved with. I tried down here. I had a perfect setup, and it basically just crushed me, smashed my hopes and dreams. So not where I wanted to be. What else do we have to go over here, guys? What's up, Russell? Hi, Anthony. Yeah. Yeah. DPST. I mean, look, that's going to become a home run in a couple months when this all settles down. But for now, regionals are just going to get smoked. They're just going to get absolutely smoked. Another way to play it is this. Hold on one second. You can see hold on, let me put the 200 in. You can see right where your 200 is. There's no way you're not getting to that. I mean, there's probably not much left there. What's left there? $1. So, but there's no way that you're not getting up there. There's just no way. That's definitely going to happen. I just don't see how you're not going to. I don't see how you're not going to test some major level on some of those names. Like DPST, I think that if you want to short it, go for it. I don't know that there's that much left here, guys, to short. I mean, you're going to start you're starting to get to like pandemic levels on some of this stuff, right? So, you have to kind of keep that in mind. I mean, we're going to lose every regional bank. Are we going to lose some of them? Are we going to lose a third of them? Right? Like, how many are we going to lose? Is it going to be as bad as 1980? Is it going to be better because we're more skilled? Is it worse because of the technology? I mean, there's so many what ifs, man. I would not be shorting this here, and I certainly wouldn't be buying that. If I was going to buy anything, and I did, just to be candid, I already went out there and started buying JP Morgan. It's ridiculous. You're getting JP Morgan on sale. That's how I look at it. I'm getting it on sale. You think that they're going to be affected by SIVB? There's just no way. Not unless there's no time. They can't even. They're not even in the same. They shouldn't even be quantified as the same kind of bank. Well, they're really not, are they? But same with Goldman. Like some of these names are just going to absolutely explode. I really believe that. Hey, Jacob, SMFG, SCHW. Let's do SCHW. So what you have here is you have people starting to play detective. And what they're doing is they're playing the game of, we're going to go calculate who else has actual unrealized losses on the books. and we're going to start calculating them out because they're going to default too. It doesn't work that way, like at all, not even a little bit. So the issue for me would be that we lost money here, and now I might want to dig more into what happened there. I might want to look more into their earnings. If I was thinking about buying it, but what starts happening is you get people that are going to play sleuth. And I'd be real careful with that. I mean, you could see your support line right in here. I mean, it's staggering like how obvious that is, right? So do I want to be that person? Do I want to be that person that's like, shorting into that? If you're looking at buying, you're buying a falling knife and you don't know if another shoe is going to drop. So you have a lot of questions you have to ask yourself there. You have a lot of questions you have to ask yourself. Let's pop in on SIVB and see how we're doing. 39. I'm really surprised they just didn't halt it and open it up Monday after they have this all worked out. So that's what they should have done. Absolutely crazy that they let this thing trade. Do I think FAS is still play? I would watch the 21-day. I think the easy money on FAZ has been made. If you don't get the newsletter, make sure you get it. Link in description. It's free. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know that I want to play. What am I playing for? That buck right into here? Like, you're going to get it most likely, right? I mean, as long as as long as you flip here, right? You start getting up to those levels. I don't know. I mean, should I be worried about this? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, you start getting all up in here, you're starting to see a couple different spots that might be a problem, but I think you could just push right through them. I do. I think you just push right through them. We'll see how it goes. What are my thoughts on TMF? Let's take a look. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, let's see. I don't usually play these names. That's not something I would go near. The one thing you have going for you is your volume is absolutely huge. Your volume is just absolutely through the roof. So that would be very appealing to me to get involved with that from a volume standpoint. Sure, that I can see. I could see that being appealing. Other than that, I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would be doing much there. There maybe there's a move there, maybe, but I'm not so sure. So let's see how this goes, and we'll go from there. Take a look at the market again. I'm going to just stress to everybody that if you're not extremely savvy or you don't feel that you are extremely competent, today's a great day to read a book. Okay. A great day to read a book because this is going to get wild. Okay? You're going to see lots of rumors today, and you just want to be really, really careful, guys, trading today. Today's day is kind of mellow out, put something on. I would not lose money on that trade. That's where my head would be, Kev. What's up, brother? Oh, I think, dude, he's not doing what he wants to do. I mean, like, there's no way that's over. It's over. Tesla in the video. What's up, Am? So let's go through these and let's take a look at this and go from there. So here we are with Tesla, and let's just map this out. Okay. So you're already bidding up. Now, my thought on the bidding up is, was Tesla a victim of this yesterday? Did SIVB have a Tesla stake that they had to liquidate? They liquidated everything they could liquidate yesterday. And, they should have led with that. And I think the way that they gave out information was very disingenuous, frankly. And I think that people are, they got stuck because of that. If they had said more up front, I think it would have been a little easier. Anyway, that's hindsight. I would think you're going to get to 180, maybe. I don't know. I don't know that you're going to fade here. It depends on why it dropped. If it dropped because SIVB was blowing stuff out, then you were in good shape. If that's not the reason, here, like, let's take a look at this and drill into this. So we'll go from there. You see that right in there? So I mean, you can see, that's pretty clear, right? So you should be able to see that. I really think that, you can get back to that level pretty easily. I really do. I think that that's an easy level to get to. If I'm to look at NVIDIA, I think it's one of the greatest trading vehicles out there right now. I think you have to be careful here with a couple different things. So you have this level up here, right? We keep battling it, taking out highs, not going up, taking out highs, not going up. That starts to become an issue. And, one of the things that I'm just watching, and someone's going to come out and say it's a short. And, there's going to be an argument that's going to be made there that, yeah, I see that rising wedge too. I don't know that I would be shorting it. I'm long, but, I pulled a lot of money out of this thing off of these moves, just whacking it around. That's really what's working, is just trading right now. It's just whacking stocks around. It's not really like we're going anywhere. Even today, where are we going? All right. What are you up today? This is what's happened. We're up 1% today. What were we down yesterday? 1.5%. So we had a bank blow up and we moved 80 basis points. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, market's not going anywhere. Like, everyone's waiting for the next big blow up. And, this is why the market's going to take out the lows. Is it? Because we just lost a bank. And we did lose a bank. Like that. There's no way that they're going to be around. So people know that we just lost a bank. The dollar's rallying, or the dollar's falling down. The bonds are rallying. And you're going to talk about the end of the world. Like, it's mind boggling. Like, you just can't think like that. So you think about it from that perspective. And then you go and take a look at names like NVIDIA. Could they drop lower? Yeah, they can. They could gap fill. You could see pressure on these kinds of names today. Absolutely, you could. That's there. That's there, and that's a break. That's definitely there, and that's definitely a break. So, the confirm of that break is going to be this level right here, 232.50. That's the confirm move. Sometimes they break them and then they go back up, and we'll see what happens with it. But I still like it. I think it's a great idea. Right. Yeah. Losing your job, you can't buy anything at all. Right. Yeah. It's about time. They should have halted it a long time ago. I don't know why that thing's even trading. Like, it's mind boggling. They were still letting that thing trade. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't even know that. You have to start asking yourself, like, about the competence of some of these people. Like, it's just staggering to me. Anyway, SIVB. Let's go back, take a look at it. And you're just, maybe you're going to bonk around, but I don't think so. I don't see how. Maybe they got a deal done. Maybe someone's going to buy them. Maybe JP Morgan's going to take them over, or Goldman cut a deal with them to take them out at $30 a share and shore up the assets and everything else. And, you just don't know. You have no idea, right? You have no idea, but that absolutely could happen. Sure. And maybe that's what's happening. I don't know. We're going to find out what the news is, and then we'll go from there. But, right now, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how it plays out. You know, we'll see how that plays out. I, I don't know, man. It's just the whole thing's mind boggling to me, guys. You know, no, I don't think that's going to tank them. I think it's actually better. Let's see. Let's get that SPY over 200. Thoughts on LABU? Yeah, I would just avoid LABU. I'd be real careful here. I would be really careful today, guys. I don't know how I can stress it anymore. Like, I would just let this all sort itself out, because you might be at a real big inflection point and we just don't know yet. So we're going to have to see what SIVB does, you know, how they act. If someone steps in and buys them and that's a vote of confidence, that's great. But I don't know how someone's going to do it that fast, considering all things. So, you know, keep that in mind, guys. I just don't see that. Levels for NVIDIA we went over. Let's go here. Hopefully have them, Cam. If not, I'll go over them in the room in a moment. Thanks, man. I usually work during the weekends. SMFG, which is, I mean, kind of enjoyable for me. I like doing what I do. SMFG, what do you have me looking at, my friend? SMFG. I mean, I'm not going near this thing. What are we doing here? What's happening? Why would I? Yeah, I mean, I would not be going anywhere near something like this today. Like, something like this would just scare me. It's so thin. It's what is this? Some kind of unsponsored ADR or something. This would just scare me to death. Like, I don't know what I'm walking into. Am I going to gap up one day? Am I going to gap down? Like, I don't know enough, man. There's a whole story here behind in this name, right? And you have to understand that story if you're going to play those kinds of names. And I don't understand that story. So if I don't understand it, I don't touch it. I mean, technically, you're not really going anywhere, are you? I mean, you'd probably want to close over 9. I mean, for me to actually want to be involved, I'd want to get a close over 905, right? And we'll go from there. But that's kind of how I look at it. So yeah, I think JP Morgan will be fine, but you know, we'll see. I like JP Morgan here. You know, I started a position. Maybe it holds, maybe it doesn't. If it doesn't, I'm going to tell you right now, if that doesn't hold, I'm gone. I'm not waiting around. Yeah, I would don't lose money. No, you should just read a book today. What's going on, KR? What's up, Josh? $47.11. Yeah. I mean, where are you going? I don't know. I don't know you're going anywhere. I mean, were you trying to catch this up here to get to 50? Maybe. I mean, you just have to have such a tight stop on it. I don't know. I don't know that it's worth it, Josh. Candidly. What do I think the SPY is going to do? I actually think that the SPY is going to go higher. I bought the index yesterday at the close. So I actually think it's going higher, and I've done quite well in that position this morning. I thought we just had sheer, absolute, unadulterated panic here. So I don't talk about it much because I don't want people to blow up. I don't really even talk about it in the Alpha Chasers community, but trading the futures market's pretty easy to do with something like this. And I also did a bunch of calls yesterday on it because they were so ridiculously cheap. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking for a trade, guys. Like, I think we're going to gap up. I'll probably sell right into the trade on things I haven't already liquidated. Where do I think we're going? This takes time, guys. Like, you're just not going to run right back over 4,000, right? You have to stay in here a couple days. You're going to have to build, unless it comes out that SIVB is fine and everything's fine. I don't think that's the halt news pending. But I think that the halt news pending is they're not going to be able to sustain themselves. Goldman's buying them for $8. You know, it's going to be something like that. I mean, there's some news that's going to change the whole landscape of the market. And it's going to happen fast today, guys. So you're just going to want to just keep your head in the swivel. But I think it goes up, my friend. I do. Just share the show, man. I don't need the money, but thank you. I did think about putting those buttons up like super chat buttons and then just giving the money to St. Jude's. That's usually when I donate. It's usually St. Jude's or Wounded Warrior. Let's go. Anything on SPY? What do you got? Great day to sit around. Dude, it's a great day to sit around. Yep. Sit by the, well, I'm in Miami, so we don't have a fire pit. But 18 friends, FHA make a move. Steven, I don't know that we're there yet, man. I'm going to have to hop in the room here, guys. I'm already behind. I'm just having a pretty mellow morning for once. I really think that when you look at this, I don't know. I came really close to pulling the trigger on this yesterday, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't like the thing that scared me about SIVB, Stephen, is the more I read, the more I'm like, what? Why are you saying this now at 2:00? Like all this should have came out at once. Why in God's green earth did you just go to the Morgan Stanley Technology Conference and not say a word about any of this? You were just there 48 hours ago before your company blew up, talking about the future and how great things look. And now you're delinquent and you're not sending out wires. Like it's mind-boggling. So I don't know, man. I don't know how this plays out. So I'm just, the more I read, the more uncomfortable I got. How long do you have to wait to typically the alpha chasers? If you're on the list, you should be getting them shortly. It's usually about 30 days right now. They will be getting, I think it goes out next week again, the invitation. So take a look at it. If you've been on for more than 30 days and it's less than 30 days, if you've been on the wait list for more than 30 days and you're not getting it, just email me there. If you've been on that wait list for more than 30 days and you've not gotten an invitation, just put your email me there, and I can look into what the heck's going on there, but you should have. But let's just see. ENPH. What's up, Bruno? I like Hassan. I do. I like Hassan. ENPH. Yeah, thanks. That's all I'm looking for. Let's just share the channel. Let's just grow this thing. So great, man. Hit the like button. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Good morning. Might get back into Meta thoughts. I love the name. I mean, I've got a buyer out there. They're buying 40 billion, right? And what are we doing? We have to jump, guys. I'm late. I'm late here. I love the name. I absolutely love the name. All right. I'll talk to everybody. See ya. Thanks, Stephen.